Welcome back. We're officially 10 episodes into reading for fun and looking at these books. If I could go back, I would completely do the order backwards. I'm only 2 books into the Mistborn trilogy, but from what I've read so far, I would have started with this series, followed by all 6 Red Rising books, and then the King Killer Chronicles. The reason I say that is the way Brandon Sanderson writes, it's very easy to understand everything in terms of like the story. The world building could be a little bit difficult because of the magic system, but at the same time, it's intriguing enough to any times I got stuck with maybe not understanding a part of it. I wanted to go to the table of context. I wanted to better understand it because it's used so much throughout the book that you want to make sure you understand where everything's coming from in terms of the magic. And outside of the magic, I think it's a very approachable series.
Now, I know I've said this on other videos, and apparently I need to be a better book critic, but I'm confused why on BookTube people don't enjoy this book as much as the original. Because for me, it's just as good, if not better. And a big reason why is the characters. Obviously, without time spent on Kelsier anymore, I really enjoyed all the side characters in the second book. The companion relationship between Tensoon and Vin was awesome. All the chapters spent on Ellen Venture and everything that he has to go through, trying to be a good leader for a city that's used to be having a corrupt leader and all the challenges that brings. Sazed is probably my favorite side character in this book. Even the weird relationship between, Zane and Vin, I really enjoyed all the intrigue that brought. So for me, Brandon Sanderson does a great job spending a lot of time with the side characters. That way you really feel like you have just as good of a relationship with them as you do in the protagonist, Vin. And I don't know. I don't get it. Side characters are great in this book. And going off the characters, I really enjoyed the plot of this book. I mentioned a little bit earlier, but the struggle of Vin throughout book number 2, I really enjoyed because to me, it seemed very, authentic and what would happen in real life if somebody went from, a lowly Ska to a more and more powerful Mistborn every day. The plot with Ellen Venture was really good, in my opinion. The Zane and Vin plot I enjoyed. Sazed, Tensoon, everybody. I love the plot of this book. And for me, as a newer reader, I liked it because although there was a lot going on, it was a very clear plot. I never really felt confused at any point. And for me, I enjoy that. And lastly, without having too many spoilers, I want to talk about the world building and how I mentioned how this book isn't very confusing. With that being said, I see it getting more and more complicated and in depth, and the way this book ends, it makes me feel like the third book in the trilogy, everything's really going to expand, and there's a lot of things that we're being told now that are going to be flushed out by the time that this trilogy ends. And that's not just with Vin. That's with Sazed, that's with Ellen, that's with Tensoon. Every character I really feel like has their own plot in this world, and we haven't gotten to the end of it yet. So, again, no spoilers, but the way book 2 ends, it gets you really excited to start the third book and see where Brandon's going to take this whole thing. And so, overall, I'm going to say that I enjoyed The Well Ascension more. Thought it was an amazing book. Yes, it was a little bit slower in terms of pacing, but the politics, the side characters, the world getting more expanded, all that for me made it my favorite book of the 2 so far. And so now I can officially put it on the shelf. I'm 10 books deep. Wow. I'm 10 books deep. I'm excited to keep going. If you aren't already, please go read for fun. And I'll be back next week to end the trilogy.